Hello, everybody. Welcome to La Liga Talk. We are live here on topfcradio.com. My name is Chris Rodriguez. We are going to discuss a lot of things going on with La Liga at this moment in the Spanish football of the world. I don't even know if that's actually what is supposed to be said, but anyways, I'm gonna call it that. Regardless, man, what a week we've had with La Liga. Important matches, nice matches, not incredibly important, but nevertheless important. Nice matches, that were played in La Liga. Of course, another terrific match by Real Madrid, in, of course, Jude Bellingham, the star for Los Blancos. But before we continue, thank you for everybody that's been listening to the radio station, topfcradio.com. We have all kinds of football, your one-stop shop for football/soccer news talk. You can go to the website and enjoy these pundits that come on and just talk about your favorite leagues, your favorite teams, your favorite players here on Top Football Club. And you can go to the website topfcnews.com to stay up to date on the news, the recent news going on right now, everything related to the U.S. soccer, La Liga, Premier League, everything. We have everything on the website. And of course, topfcradio.com live. You can listen 24/7 to everything football. All right. So, really, really, really good matches. Of course, you got Cadiz, Villarreal losing 1-3 to Cadiz, and Setien losing his job as well. He's leaving. He left Villarreal. He lost his job because apparently the players just weren't, he wasn't getting along with the players. And this was since last season. The players went to complain to the directives that Setien it wasn't up to par. Like, it wasn't modern type of managing or coaching, and it was old school. So they wanted to see changes, and they told him this. They told Setien this, and he didn't change anything. So therefore, they had to make this decision according to them. Now, Almeria, Celta de Vigo 3-1 winning Celta de Vigo. Real Madrid 2-1 against Getafe. Getafe, new team for Mason Greenwood that we're going to talk about later. So Real Madrid won, Barcelona won as well on a match that Barcelona has been complaining about the officiating here in the last few matches. They've been complaining. They want changes. We're going to talk about all that right here. Let's do a quick rundown. We're going to obviously talk a little bit about the weekly, the La Liga, the matches that are coming up. Real Madrid is making a legal complaint about La Liga as well. We're going to discuss that. And La Liga recommends ex-Barcelona director to succeed Luis Rubiales as RFEF president. We're going to talk about that. The first manager falls in La Liga, and of course, we talked about him a little bit. Setien leaving, sacked, the first La Liga manager to be sacked this far in this early season. Sergio Ramos returns to Sevilla, or Sevilla, however you want to say it. He returns to the southern part of the country. That's a big news right there, and an important news. And by the way, we're going to talk about what the Sevilla Ultras had to say about Sergio Ramos coming back. And more or less, they said it's a lack of respect for the values that made us great. We're going to discuss that a little bit as well. And of course, at the end, we're going to have Mason Greenwood, as he was unveiled at Getafe, is really an important signing. We're going to talk about that as well. So let's get started with La Liga Talk, ladies and gentlemen, on topfcradio.com. Thank you so much for listening, staying live. You are listening again, your one-stop shop for all things football, all things soccer. topfcradio.com. Let's get started. All right. So, of course, when it comes to matches, Barcelona won their match. There was controversy. Sevilla and Atletico Madrid was going to be probably the most important match in the past week because of how they just big teams going against each other, but it was postponed. So the time will be announced at some point in time this season. Valencia losing to Alaves. That was surprising a little bit. Real Betis beating Rayo Vallecano this week as well, 1-0. Girona, the other club that's in Barcelona that nobody talks about when it comes to Barcelona, the Barcelona city. But Girona is there as well. And they beat 1-0 to Las Palmas. Mallorca tied with Athletic Club 0-0, 0-0, and Real Sociedad beating 5-3 to Granada. That was an interesting match. A lot of goals. If you're a neutral, that was a really good goal. By the way, I want to invite everybody to the YouTube channel Top FC News, and you can find us anywhere at Top FC News. That's our handle, Top FC News. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, the AMP app, the new radio app that's promoted and that's been, it's an Amazon app, a new app that you can listen to us also live every single day. We go there and broadcast the radio. But if you want to have the full content of the radio station, you have to go to topfcradio.com and you can listen 24/7 to everything related to football. All right, so as far as news, that's a little bit of the rundown. We're going to have the matches at the end, what's coming next week, coming up for La Liga. But we do have to talk about this Real Madrid game. I mean, incredible situation with Jude Bellingham. Real Madrid continues their perfect stat for the season, but it didn't come without its fair share of drama against Getafe at Santiago Bernabeu. I mean, Getafe gave Real Madrid the business a little bit. It was a really good match for Getafe, but it was 1-1 until at the end. At the end, Jude Bellingham. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know how to describe this. The type of football that he is displaying at Real Madrid is bar none. In all honesty, I mean, I just I don't think I can't remember. Again, I'm still a sort of a younger fellow, so I can't remember when. I can't remember a player that has started as good as Bellingham has for Real Madrid, for any club. I mean, I'm sure there were, and I'm sure I've seen him, but I mean, this is just incredible, and it's a pretty good thing. I think it's hard. I know last week we were talking about Real Madrid thinking that he's going to be the next legend for Los Blancos. But, man, listen, this kid is unbelievable. This kid is just has all the talent in the world. I think he is the best player that England has for their national team. I think so. I mean, I think that's the bottom line. But also, not only that, he is going to be their leader, and we're going to show, because this show also goes to the YouTube channel. So if you go to topfcnews.com, you will be able to see this goal that we're going to show right here. And I'm sure this will go to the website, topfcnews.com. And I mean, the goal is incredible. We're going to show it right real quick. The goal is, he's right there. And see, he always used to play as a number 6 right there, sharing the ball. And in this player right here, no, it's the next one. But he's always trying. He's always going hard. He's always looking for the football. And he ends up fighting it. Right now, he's playing as a number 10. He's playing right behind the striker. He's playing, in that role where he's going to score a lot of goals, when he's going to, find himself in that spot. And eventually he does, no pun intended. And he's scoring every single match for Real Madrid. Every single match he has been scoring. I mean, I'm not, in the beginning you can say it could be beginner's luck. It could be this, it could be that. But every single match and being important. I mean, in a lot of these matches that he has scored, like on this one, this is the play. And right there, he finds it. A nice hit, bad bounce by the goalkeeper, and he finds it. And the ball finds him. The ball finds him. And he said it right here. He's never seen a stadium rock like the Bernabeu did when he scored that goal. Incredible goal for Jude Bellingham, just being at the right time, at the right place at all times. And I mean, this kid is going to be amazing for a long time for football fans. He's going to be really good. He's got a good personality as well. He's not scared. He will talk to the opponents. He will talk to the crowd away and at home. He has a lot of personality, and that's really, really, really good. Now, we'll see what happens with him, of course. And he at Real Madrid, it's good that they have him, but they can't depend only on Jude. They have to figure out more ways to score, more ways to play better, to contribute to the attack. And if that happens, this could be a really, really, really tough team to beat, especially in the Champions League. Everybody's competing. Everybody's talking about, Arsenal. How is Newcastle going to do? Manchester United going back to the Champions League. Then you got Manchester City, of course, fighting for the title again. But if this kid is right, and if Real Madrid gets their offense, gets that midfield created more occasions to score, then it really could be a dangerous Real Madrid team to beat in the Champions League. Now let's go to Barcelona. Barcelona also made they struggled a little bit against Osasuna. Osasuna, a good team, really values in that team, in that organization. Now they needed a late penalty from Robert Lewandowski to beat Osasuna 2-1 at El Sadar, and the defending Champions League champions didn't look at their best. Xavi tried to find out the best combination with the squad at his disposal, but it has been a little bit of a challenge. Not to say that they're struggling, but it has been a little bit of a challenge to for Barcelona to just find the groove. Um, find how to put their pieces. Of course, they're getting Joao Felix as well. That's a player that they're going to need. He obviously came in this match, and he obviously did what he had to do. Gundogan as well, a good player that they have, and it is what it is at this point. It's a matter of figuring it out for Barcelona. It's going to take a little bit of time. You got a new. You gave away Ansu Fati, and they loaned him out, but he's not there no more. Meaning he was still part of the club, and he was still counted when it came to making a substitution. Well, he's not going to be there no more. Of course, you got Joao Felix, the player you wanted for Ansu Fati. They made it happen. So now at this point is whether Xavi can figure things out in order to make things work. By the way, I want to make an announcement for this podcast, for this show, La Liga Talk. We have a new signing, ladies and gentlemen. His name is TK, and he is a new pundit of part of the Top FC Radio channel, and he's going to be joining us here on La Liga Talk. He is experienced with La Liga, been podcasting, been DJing shows for a long time, and he's going to be a part of this. He is a big Barcelona fan, knows a lot about La Liga, and so he's going to be a great addition to the channel and a good pundit to have to discuss La Liga news. And of course, the show is going to get longer, probably 45 minutes to an hour instead of 30 minutes, the time that we have at this moment. Okay, so that's what's going on. Barcelona, it was really a game of few clear-cut chances. Mark Ter Stegen made a couple of smart saves to keep the scores level for in the first half, and he made some things happen, but Barcelona took the lead on the stroke of halftime when Jules Koundé rose to the highest to head in a corner. And of course, but Xavi's side, they struggled to gain control in the second half as the home side, really rallied behind their team. I'm talking about Osasuna, of course. Now, despite not creating any clear openings, Osasuna got their goal 15 minutes from time, and substitute Chimi Avila received the ball on the edge of the box and held off a couple of defenders before unleashing an unstoppable shot into the bottom corner, impossible for Mark Ter Stegen. And of course, at the end, there was a foul, and they were able. Lewandowski was able to capitalize and was able to. Now there's a lot of controversies because in this match in particular, in other matches, Barcelona has been complaining. They have been complaining about certain calls and certain just plays that are not called in their favor, and a lot of people telling Barcelona fans, really, it's Barcelona really going to complain? Barcelona and Real Madrid, along with any other top club, shouldn't complain about any calls against them because they get calls in their favor all the time. And I'm quoting what fans say about these clubs. So right there, you can see the Conde goal if you're on the YouTube channel, and I do agree with that part a little bit, but I mean, you still have to get the calls right, regardless of shirt. The moment when we realize we're gonna stop um, giving favors to big clubs and all that stuff, and stop making the wrong calls in general. That's just the bottom line. Stop making bad calls in general, and things will get better. And that's it. There's nothing else to it. If we want to have clarity in the game, then VAR, referees, they have to look away from the jersey and just get the right call at the right time. Now, was it a penalty? I think he ran him over. And of course, right there, Lewandowski down, faking it and scoring the 2-1 goal for Barcelona. Really good penalty, really good shootout right there. Now, by the way, Takefusa Kubo, playing for Osasuna, played a starring role, scoring twice for. I'm sorry, not for Osasuna. I'm sorry, we were talking about that. He plays for Real Sociedad. By the way, he is still a player that a lot of Madridistas are thinking like, should we have kept Kubo? But I mean, I don't think they should ponder on that any longer. It is what it is. He's gone, and there's nothing else to it. Now, let's move on with some news, of course. And by the way, I want to play this, what Tony Kroos had to say on the season start for Real Madrid. This is an interesting take, and we'll listen to it when the thing plays right there. Let me see if we can get it to play.
Points that we had a good start so far. 4 games, 12 points. That in this case, nothing more to ask for. There are definitely things we can improve in our game. Still, it's pretty normal, especially at the beginning of the season, and not everything was perfect. We had very close games, but at the end we were able to achieve the win always. 4 games, 12 points, as I said before, a good start. But we know that especially after the national team break, there will be coming good opponents. We have 2 very difficult matches in the league and Champions League start. So it's just the start, but I think we're ready for the challenges.
Well, yeah, that's what Tony Kroos had to say about Real Madrid's start. Of course, they have seen some challenges, and like I said, they need to figure out how to make that midfield work. And that midfield right now is consisting of Valverde, Tchouameni, and Camavinga. So they're going to have to make something work right there. Obviously, Kroos is coming off the bench a lot of times. Sometimes he has started, but it's going to be an easier. Now they're going to be fading away from the starting lineup, right? So they're not going to be coming in as much. And of course, you got none other than Modric coming off the bench as well, taking more of a supporting role more than the starting role. So, by the way, let's go with another piece of news. Real Madrid make a legal complaint. Now, what is this about? Because what is this about, really? So Real Madrid are returning to the battlefield with La Liga. The two entities have butted heads on numerous occasions in recent years, most notably over the CVC deal, and have submitted another legal complaint. So this summer, as a part of their new sponsorship deal with EA Sports, La Liga announced a number of new measures to increase media access to games. And they also announced that they would be introducing rewards based on how much access teams give the media coverage. Now, around 130 million euros will be distributed between the 42 teams in the top 2 divisions, with the amounts differing based on a La Liga assessment of the coverage and awarded on a points-based system. So that will be rewarded like that, 130 million euros from La Liga awarding teams. Now, Real Madrid have not taken kindly to this and have denied the cameras access to their dressing room. They feel their rights are being infringed upon and their earning potential is being damaged. Now, the first La Liga match at the Santiago Bernabeu took place last Saturday, and Los Blancos did not allow the TV cameras into the match until minutes before kickoff. Now, the pre and post match were done outside, something that Diario AS claimed was an irritant to the league sponsors. So now Real Madrid have submitted a legal complaint on the above basis and will seek to block the cameras from coming into both their dressing room and their stadium before they allow it, which is just minutes before kickoff time. Once again, La Liga and the clubs are struggling to pull in the same direction. The league's constant battles with each other and the bodies of authority, vice versa too, as well. We gotta say that continues to hurt the league's earning and growth potential. So, what do you think? I mean, I think that letting the cameras and the media just minutes before kickoff sounds a little bit harsh by Real Madrid. Sounds like a little like it sounds like it shouldn't be that way, right? Sounds like maybe they need to stop being so petty. And in all reality, maybe they do need to stop being petty because, I mean, it's not going to hurt them, right? I mean, just a few minutes? We have to identify what a few minutes means because it can mean different things, man. And but if it's just 10 minutes, 15 minutes, even 20, I think that's too little of time to actually adjust to anything. I think Real Madrid could be better. I don't know why they're being petty like this. I guess you can say that's the right word. I think they're great. It's one of the greatest teams ever. So I think they could be a little more easygoing when it comes to that. Maybe so it's the same as the Super League type deal, right? Real Madrid, along with many clubs, say, listen, the media coverage that this team has, that it's tremendous. It's not the same as the coverage that Osasuna has, or Getafe has, or Alaves has. Meaning, you're giving me, if this is on the basis of just giving media coverage about anything, then Alaves can say, okay, I'm going to give you full access to everything you want, right? And that means they will get more than Real Madrid that has limited. So Real Madrid is like, come on, we can't compare with each other here. You got to, I'm sure what Florentino Perez wants is a substantial amount from the get-go to make this happen, which I don't know that's going to happen, but it is what it is. We'll see what happens. And let's move on to the next one as we have to get going right here with this show. As you see right there on your screen, if you are seeing it. If not, I will read it to you. La Liga recommends ex-Barcelona director to succeed Luis Rubiales for the RFEF president role. And they're last month, Matteo Alemany left his role as Barcelona's director of football, despite still having almost 12 months left on his current contract. His departure, coincided with the arrival of Deco as the club's new sporting director. Deco, a longtime player for Barcelona. I'm sorry. So the La Liga is recommending Alemany in currently out of work, although he may not be for long. He has been good in his role for Real Madrid, for Barcelona. I'm sorry, for Barcelona. He's been getting, the Barcelona has had problems for a long time about money problems, and Alemany has made things happen in order for them to get new signings, for them to get new contracts, for them to get rid of contracts and get rid of players. Let's not forget that. And Alemany has been right there. He's really has been. His work is good. His work is really good, and so therefore, I do believe that maybe, just maybe, he could be fit for this role. As we know, Rubiales hasn't left he hasn't left yet. They haven't fired him. I'm sure they're working on it. it remains to be seen whether Alemany does indeed emerge as the candidate to replace Rubiales. But Barcelona will certainly welcome it if so, because I'm sure they have a vote, and this everything goes by voting and all that stuff. La Liga's decision is said to have come from their own president, Javier Tebas, who has been in contact with Alemany on several occasions over the years. So we'll see what happens with that. I mean, certainly anybody could be better than Rubiales, right? Even though they won a World Cup, he certainly did good on a lot of his duties for the president of the RFEF, but he made a big mistake, so therefore he must be gone. Now, let's go to the first manager that falls in. Is former La Liga, former Barcelona boss bites the dust at Villarreal, and that is none other than Setien, ladies and gentlemen. We were talking about him earlier. Villarreal's boss, Setien, fired. And it's basically, just to reiterate a little bit of what I was saying earlier, it's because of the players didn't think that he was bothered. The players didn't think that he was, his method of training wasn't up to par with everything else. And so, Villarreal throwing out a comunicado oficial, meaning an official statement, saying that Quique Setien, el entrenador, the coach, is not going to be part of Villarreal Football Club anymore. And so, listen, man, I don't know. I mean, players shouldn't get to decide what coaches come and go. I think they could have an opinion, but the part of the problem is that if you don't have the right directives that will take that opinion is for just what it is, that it's just an opinion, and they take it as, law, then they fire this guy, and just because the player said so. So it's a fine line here, how it works. Quique Setien has been, a coach for a long time, and, but he didn't do well at Barcelona. They weren't sad to see him go when Messi and company were there. Wasn't the greatest, but the point here is, do you let players make those decisions for the team? And maybe it shouldn't be that way, So we'll see what happens with that. And I don't know if Setien will go back to coaching. I mean, obviously he's been a good coach, but certainly not not in top football anymore. And Villarreal was probably a good situation for him, and he just wasn't able to perform. Now let's go with none other, ladies and gents. Sergio Ramos comes back to Sevilla, and this is going to be a really good match. A good match for Sergio Ramos, coming back to La Liga, coming back to Sevilla, a club that he literally grew up as a player. I mean, he grew up as a boy. There's footage of him out there as a young boy repping Sevilla Football Club. So I think it's going to be really nice. It's going to be really good. After leaving PSG, he obviously had no other choice. I mean, actually, he did. He could have went to Saudi Arabia and actually make a lot of money, over 20 million a year, and he chose 1 million a year for Sevilla. So I think it's good. And good for him. I'm not sure that he's completely getting rid of that 20 million a year offer. I think that he might go for a year or two to Sevilla, and maybe at around 39, 40, he might go to Saudi Arabia for a lesser price. Of course, I don't think they'll give him 20 mil. But regardless of that, we got to discuss a little bit on what's going on with the ultras, and it's that and it's that the thing. Here's the thing: do you let the ultras actually do what they want? Right? Do you let that happen? Do you let the ultras manage your club? Because the ultras don't want this kid. Okay, and I don't know that I don't I'm not sure that I would necessarily, you know, I mean there are fans, I guess. I don't the fact that they're ultras doesn't doesn't sound good, right? The fact that they're ultras is not something that should be applauded. It's not something that needs to be um they shouldn't be part of the club, but they came out and said that basically they don't approve of this signing, that they don't want this player to be there, that he made gestures and things to the when he went back with Real Madrid, and that they don't want him there, right? So that they don't want him there, and therefore they have to um they don't want him. So is this going to be an issue for him going back to Sevilla? Is it going to be an issue? I don't know. Not right now when they are avoiding the ultras back in the club right now in the first matches for Sevilla because they're afraid that his debut might go sour, and it's unfortunate. It is unfortunate, but at the same time, I'm not sure what to do. I mean, when it comes to ultras, man, there's a very thin, fine line. They shouldn't be allowed in the game, right? They shouldn't be allowed. But the problem here is that clubs do allow them. Clubs, their own clubs, allow them to be there. And when that happens, then I don't know. They send out a full statement as if there were a corporation saying that why this shouldn't should why he shouldn't why this signing was more for political purposes than anything else, that he doesn't add to the team. And as a group they say that they are very clear about this, and although they don't uh, agree with it, that nothing will happen. But of course we know that it's it, we know how this goes. We definitely know how this goes. So we'll see what happens. But it is happening there at Sevilla. Now Mason Greenwood, at last but not least, is unveiled as Getafe's signing. Now listen, this kid is going to be good. I think when it comes to football, there's no doubt that this kid is going to be good, right? It's a matter of if mentally he stays focused. It's a matter of if he doesn't commit crimes, if he doesn't beat on his wife, if he doesn't beat on his girlfriend, wife, whatever she is to him. Is he going to change this? Is he going to be a better person? We have to see. We have to see. And only time will tell. It is kind of, I don't know. It's a weird situation. It really is. But regardless, I don't think the kid, I don't think that he shouldn't have a chance to not play anymore. I don't think, I mean, he's a young lad, and obviously, I think he deserves an opportunity. But I don't think it should have been in a big club, certainly. I don't think he deserves that at a big club. I think Getafe should be good enough for this situation, even though every club needs to adhere to moral rules. But this is a club that gave him the opportunity. So it is what it is at this point, and he has to move forward. He can't dwell on the situation. He has to get better. If not, then his career will definitely be over. Anyways, that was it for this episode. Quick episode of La Liga Talk. Interesting matches coming up after the break are going to be Rayo Vallecano, Alaves, Athletic Club, Cadiz, Atletico Madrid versus Valencia. Going to be a good one. Another Barcelona, Real Betis. But of course, we're going to be talking about more of this Real Madrid, Real Sociedad. It's going to be a good one as well. Anyways, my name is Chris Rodriguez. Thank you so much for listening in to the show. And we will see you next time, or hear you next time. Bye-bye.